Yeah.
Yeah.
And then creators like you and guys like Matthew's Nerdy Nation and that's another, we did an interview with those guys that was published on their blog, and yeah, none of this would be happening if it wasn't for the incredible community, the tabletop RPG community that's out there, mostly on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's literally why I started Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's
That's the only
why
reason I go on there.
that's why I started this, just because like I had my own little circle, and it was small. And I was like, man, there has to be other and better people than my current circle out
There's
there.
no limit.
Yes, and the more I do this, the more I see like, whoa, there's like people in London who are doing their own thing that's completely
Snyder's Return guys. Yeah.
great. You know, there are people in like Canada, there are people down in like Mexico and other places that like you just never hear about because they're not in your metaverse sphere of content.
Yeah, we have listeners in Singapore and Belgium.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I think Igni, who's on Twitter, also they're in like Germany, and I believe they listen to your podcast too.
Oh, cool. Whoa.
Yeah.
Shouts.
Yeah. So like, it definitely
yeah,
seemed like the responses.
I'm gonna look. Yeah, no.
Guten Tag, Igni.
Did you say good morning?
No, Guten Tag.
Good day.
Oh, is that good?
Yeah.
Good day.
Yeah.
That's
But-
how much German I know.
But what is like
I'm literally looking Igni up on Twitter right now.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like, you should learn German. I'm like, I already know some Spanish and Japanese and English. I can try another language, I guess, because they have their own like German podcast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I'm like, oh.
I'm slowly learning German. We have my wife and I and Greg and his wife have a plan to go to Europe and visit Germany and other places in what, like 10 years?
I don't know.
It's a long ways off, so I'm taking it very slow.
Yeah.
But I've always wanted to learn German. I have German heritage on my dad's side, so this just gave me the added push to learn a new language, and it's a fun language to learn. Not too difficult.
Yeah.
Not too difficult, but
But
it's fun.
with that, do you each have like personal goals that you have thought about that you want to do with the podcast, or have you talked about like, oh, you know, we want to get YouTube down next?
I'd say the biggest one and
Say it.
the closest one
Say it.
is merchandise.
I see that hat.
Yeah.
Oh, and this Scott had to send me the emblem in a PDF, and I had to take it to a local embroider. Shout out Creative Ink in Olympia. Because my head is too ginormous to fit in the hats that Scott made for us.
Me too.
My daughter made this logo, and yeah, I put it on some hats as a way to celebrate our launch. So we all have a hat with the logo on it. But yeah, merch store is that's another thing where I'm like, the only people, I don't know, maybe everyone would demand it. I don't know. I have no idea. I just need to get it up. I just need to get it set up.
It's just that people are excited to like wear a Dice to Thunder anything.
Yeah.
It's a cool logo.
It's so cool. The logo's so cool.
Look at
She
this
did an
Thunderwear.
amazing- Thunderwear.
Yeah, Thunderwear, James.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well, you need thunderwear.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good way too, where it's like, it's not necessarily like shilling out your podcast, but it's also a way for people who do listen to be like, I support this cool podcast. Here's a cool shirt I wear. And that's something that my group and like I've had to do for various projects in the past. Like, I feel bad trying to sell something. And it's like, well, you don't actually have to sell it. You just have to be you and authentic. And if people like it, they'll do the GIF or the Futurama, take my money image.
I'm going to absolutely lose my mind the first time I see someone wearing something with our logo on it in public, though. That's going to be a thing.
You're going to sit down and start sobbing.
Yeah.
Put a shirt
Run over
out.
and be like, can I autograph your shirt? And they'll be like, what?
Who are you?
And be all excited like that, and they won't recognize my voice. Hey, can I autograph your shirt? Absolutely not. Get away from me.
Stranger danger.
I will put out a shirt. I'll drive up, and then I'll just hang out Terra Crux games
Nailed it.
until you show up.
Oh,
Perfect.
actually, I think that they're probably going to get our first batch of trial shirts. I'm gonna make some
That's a
some
great
gear
idea.
for everybody
yeah.
at Paracrux. Those guys are awesome. I mean, I love going in there and nerding out, and
Their
they're
website's
always
great
asking.
too.
Yeah, it is. And they're always asking me how the podcast's going every time I go in there to buy. I get all my print books from there. And I know, sorry, Paizo, I should be ordering them on Paizo.com, but I ordered the PDF separately.
Support local.
You know,
Yeah.
but yeah, support the Tacoma
I
business.
think Paizo would.
I think they don't mind if we buy it from a wholesaler.
Because it's a real book from
Right.
them.
Yeah.
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 But anyway, I do go to TerraCrux and talk nerd and with Doug and the gang out there and it's great because Doug used to work for Wizards of the Coast and is like the most D&D like fan guy. And I go in there and I'm like, what's up, loser?
That's great.
And he hits me back with I'm sorry, who are you? I'm still on page 500 of your rule book. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair trade, Doug.
That's an easy shot on that one.
Yeah. My personal goal has nothing to do with merchandise for
Yeah.
for this show.
Yeah.
I want to get another show out. That would be like that would be
Ooh.
great. I'd
Like
love to get
a-
a second show out.
Like another
We've got a
tabletop or
couple of
something
ideas.
else.
We've got a couple ideas. We're only ever going to play Pathfinder Second Edition. I know, right? This is the time.
Yeah, tell me the show. I want all the spoilers so everyone can
Yeah.
can tell you to do it.
I only want to do 2E. Again, like I said, only got enough room up here for one mega rule set. There's some other great systems out there, don't get me wrong, like what Two Monsters are doing with Fate Core.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Such a good show. And then, you know, just even a classic Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know if you've had a chance to interview Clash of Crits yet.
They're on my
but-
list. I got to play with
Yeah,
play with
bump them up,
Yeah.
bro. Those guys are freaking hilarious. I like laugh and laugh. I have to rewind because Osokuma will say something that just floors me, and then the other guys will come in all quiet right behind it, and I'm laughing so loud out loud in my car that I have to pause their show and then rewind it so I can catch what the next thing is. Anyway, I want to do another show, another Pathfinder 2E show that is, I don't know. I've got a couple ideas. One of them is Pathfinder, or is Dice of Thunder Presents, where we do like a one-shot type situation. The first one of those is Wife Finder. Oh, it's the idea that we got,
This is great.
which is swap everybody with their spouse on the show, including me and Brittany. So Brittany would be the GM of whatever, and we would play through the junkyard.
Oh, yeah.
The, like level 1.
Yeah.
Where they have the crane incident and the shum follow and all those like iconic early moments from our show, and only it would be like Jordan's wife, Greg's wife, Duval's wife, and then I would be playing Luton, and Brittany would be GMing, and so they play their spouse's character, and just to see how because Greg's wife, man, not a nerd at all.
Farthest from.
Duval's wife, one of the coolest people on earth. Not a nerd at all.
Yeah.
So anyway, no trash alarm. Go on. But so that's an idea, and then I would love to do like Pathfinder Society and have that would be like a bunch of different people coming in and playing one shots, you know, and having recurring Pathfinder Society characters that pop and swap based on their like availability.
So I got to make a Pathfinder Society character, and then I can
Holy
hop
man,
in.
drive
Yeah.
on up, or with the advent of Roll20, right? We can just play virtually.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a thing. I don't know. There's a couple. I mean, I'd love to explore some of the other adventure paths that are out there. Vanessa Hoskins has another one coming out soon.
Cool.
We loved her writing from
Book
Book
one.
book one of
Outlaws.
Outlaws of Alkenstar, and then of course Starfinder. You can't have the exception to Pathfinder 2E would be playing Starfinder.
That's one that I wanted.
Right
to try,
there
Yeah.
on my shelf.
Yeah, phenomenal
Yeah.
game
Yeah.
system. Do you think the ancestries and heritages are wild in Pathfinder? I mean, you can be a 3-armed slug,
Yeah.
space cowboy,
Yes.
and,
Sign me up.
you know, or a skittermander, or you know, they got space minotaur. I don't know. There's just a lot of cool stuff in that game system.
That's cool.
That's my,
I
Yeah.
don't know if I
and then
have,
maybe
like,
merchandise.
and
Mer-
then
yeah,
maybe
and then merchandise. Yeah.
I don't like I think, I don't know, I'm just having fun doing it. A personal goal would be to have in a game a level 20 character.
Yeah.
At some point in my life.
I would like to get you guys there.
I believe it'll happen.
That's a challenge.
It is a challenge.
You know, Outlaws of Alkenstar is only 3 Adventure Path books. It ends when the characters hit level 10. It ends like no more story. And so there's a lot of different ideas out there of what do you do after that?
Yeah.
And they just hit level 5. That means we're freaking halfway.
Yeah. Loki was
that,
freaking out.
I gotta pump the brakes because like we're getting to the point where the story's gonna eventually end, and then, well, how does it end and where does it go from there? I've got some ideas. Like homebrew it up to level 20, keeping the same characters, grounding it in Galarian, using the backstory of 10 levels to see where does it go from there. Then I need like a real big bad end game villain.
Well, that's always the hard part
Bank manager.
with
The
like
bank manager.
with any
Freaking
tabletop system. Like once you hit level 10, you either need to be doing something that keeps you out of society because you're too powerful to be around people. Like you sneeze and you blow up a tavern, or you're like just mired into the political system because everyone wants your attention. Like, no, I need you to protect my farm and do this other thing, and can you just go like kick those people out of the thing over there?
I think it's a threat level change. Like this threat that they're dealing with right now is centered around the mana wastes, Geb, and Nex, right? And there's this central like arms race theme that's going on in the background of what the characters are interacting with. Whatever that end is, does the threat then go from being a local, immediate thing to continental, or globe spanning? You know, or
at least a region or something.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it's a world destruction
Time
deal. Time travel,
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Maybe I launch him into the future.
Oh,
Do a Starfinder
1,000
game.
years, and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
characters play Starfinder. Hey, I don't know.
we found it.
We just
Bridge.
we just pick a Starfinder campaign that starts off like that.
Oh man,
That's great.
I don't know.
They guest star in
Not,
big campaign
not much of a home brewer. So
for like
that'd
2
be
episodes.
wild.
yeah. And then we'll sell it all to Netflix and compete with
Yeah.
Critical Role. Yeah, right.
Oh
This
man.
little indie podcast from Tacoma, huh? You guys are going to take down Matt Mercer, who's been in 300
Nope.
different acting credits to his
Right.
name. I don't think so.
I mean,
try.
it just comes down to
Like Joe Manganiello, call me.
networking, which actually brings me to Joe Manganiello, which in your latest episode you talked about potentially it'd be cool to have like an augmented reality tabletop.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen his VTT, which is Arcane, the virtual tabletop?
No.
Check it out on Kickstarter. But the goal is that you're able to use your phone or a tablet or whatever, if you eventually have the Apple head thing. You can project the board onto your table and play.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because I saw that 2 weeks ago, and then you mentioned it this week on your episode. So I was like, okay, yeah.
I've seen some stuff with guys that project, like they put a projector up on their ceiling and they project Roll20 onto like a pool table.
That's
you
cool.
know.
Or the folks who like build a TV
into the
Yeah,
table.
yeah, that's also really cool. I'm trying to look this up right now.
I'm gonna send
Arcana?
it to you.
Is it Arcana?
It's capital A, capital R, Kana.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'm looking at it right now on
Yeah.
Kickstarter.
Yeah, got funded. Interesting. Like,
Got funded. This is great.
yeah.
$50,000 goal. They've raised $418,000.
Which goes to show you,
Yeah.
People
like,
want
the
this.
demand.
community
Yeah.
is much bigger than most of us think. Sit in our houses playing these games.
The thing that I get, the picture I get in my head when I think about it is putting on a set of VR glasses and then being able to go to whole ass Galarian.
Yeah.
Like that would be just on pause, fly around and go into all those locations that make up the maps from all of the different adventure paths and books and other things that are out there. But like, how much would go into that? Like, you'd have to buy a pack. Like, let's say you buy the Outlaws of Alkenstar map pack, but that would mean that you could go into the city, the wholly realized city of Alkenstar, right up and down on the screw elevator. You know, like as just be a citizen in the city for one day.
I mean, sadly, there is some small tabletop company that's also based in Washington that's trying to push a VTT that if you combine it with like an AR headset, they might be able to do that.
Someday. Someday we'll all be playing in it.
Heck yeah.
And then we'll be like, hey, Scott, remember when this was just your idea and now it's not? And you have no rights to it? And I'll be like, yeah, it's awesome.
Well, that was something right when the HTC Vive or whatever, that headset came out. I was like, just use a VTT. Let me walk around it, move around. Like, even if I'm just a one of the painted minis on the board, that would completely change how I play the game because it's no longer top down.
Dice, you know, giant dice comes out of the sky and lands on the ground. Like, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. I already did that one. I already did that question.
Skip it.
We burned through all my good questions.
You can answer it again. We can ask it again if you want. Do we have any more user questions?
I have Alex and Jeff.
Okay, cool.
Which I kind of asked their other questions in different ways.
Perfect.
Because that's why I ask. And then they both gave me a plethora of questions. I'm like, well, I already had those, but that's fine.
They're great.
I think we can start doing like some of my more like closing questions, which is along the lines of, when you started doing your podcast, did you get advice from anyone? And was there any that worked really well for you and some that didn't work, or you just kind of swept it under the rug? And that's for everyone too.
Yeah, I didn't get any advice. I am a podcast fan. I'm a listener. And so a lot of what we've built is what I would like to hear as a fan of podcasts. And I think that I've taken some tidbits from my friends who are also podcast fans. What do you guys like? What do you think is good? The advice that I got, all of it came from Pod Sound School. So any of the ideas that we do have, or any of the formatting, that's all straight from Steve and Veronica. Like, those guys really saved my life. And so, like, we have a trailer. That was direct advice that I was given by Ariel Nissenblatt, right? She has the Trailer Park podcast, and I was luckily invited to a really cool Discord, the podcasting community Discord, and was able to talk to this person. I got some great like audio mixing advice. The trailer, I don't know. It's only been played 100 times. I don't know if does that mean 100 people have listened? Like, they listened to the trailer and like, this is the greatest damn thing I've ever heard in my life. And now they're Thunder Buddies. Awesome. I have no idea. No idea of knowing if it worked or not. I just know that it's something that checks that podcasting box. All the successful podcasts that are out there have a trailer so that people can, have a brief chance to know you.
Right.
And you can make that first impression. So I think that was, maybe good advice. No idea. Seems like good advice, though.
Yeah.
Some of the audio mixing advice that I've gotten has been incredibly helpful. Most of that's from Greg, who's, been an audio engineer for as long as I've known him, and has his own home studio. And I helped him set up audio engineering in the past. So that's been like, how does it work in this space like this, and this medium and all that. So yeah, I mean, it's all been the stuff that I've had to throw away is like when people come to me and they're like, you need to set up a merch store. And I'm like, no.
Not your face.
No one's going to know you if you don't have a merch store.
I know.
Exactly.
I just want people to take their Dice of Thunder backpacks to the con. That's the thing right there, right?
Yeah.
Like, then I'll die of a heart attack at the con, and there will be no more Dice of Thunder.
Give me a bumper sticker,
But
man.
you'll die
Bumper
happy.
sticker?
Bumper sticker.
Just of the logo? Put on the back of the
No,
laptop?
it's gotta,
You want it
that'd
to be
awesome.
like a whole
Either
thing? diceofthunder.com. A
And then
Pathfinder actual play
the
tabletop
URL
role.
spelled out.
Right, yeah, and then a QR code.
Yeah.
Takes
there
you
you
right to
There
the
you go.
RSS feed. Boom, nailed it.
Iron on patch.
The merch
Yeah.
store.
Hashtag
Jeez.
marketing.
Yeah.
Free bumper sticker with every purchase.
I think to answer your question, because I'm thinking about it, I was like, advice. Most, like, just talking to Scott, like, he really does think critically about this stuff. So he has lots of great advice for it. But then just listening to the other podcasts around that are doing actual plays and being like, oh, this is cool that they did, or this isn't so cool that they did. And then making sure that we remember we're not trying to be them.
Yeah.
And kind of doing it our own way.
But we will steal from them shamelessly.
With creative ideas, we're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, and this is something we've already talked about, backstories for characters. That's just great advice for great storytelling. So maybe we should do that. Right? Or like making sure that you can hear everyone when they're talking, right? So not talking over people.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
I had to learn that one the hard way, right?
We all did.
And I also just want to play everyone's characters for them. So I can't
That's
do that.
uniquely him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So learning these things, like, okay, these are things that
Nailed it.
that's like advice that you get from people, or as you're hearing other podcasts, or your GM just letting you know to just make some adjustments, because it's better for everyone. It's better for the people who are playing. It's better for the people who get to listen. It's just, yeah.
See, that's the pause reminds me of that's the one unique thing I think that you all have, being at the same table together, having that, like, you can see someone start talking, or you can see that happen, versus online there's always the
delay.
yeah, there you go, and we all talk at the same time. I'm like,
good.
wait,
That,
yeah.
honestly, that is actually one of the biggest turnoffs for me personally, watching people play TTRPGs purely digital or purely virtual. That's one of the, because I'm like, I want to feel like the pace is, I don't know, there's something more engaging about knowing they're in the same room and not realizing they're talking over each other because there's delay in the video and they're using Zoom or whatever.
Yeah.
And these long pauses that they're missing out on something, it just totally pulls you out of the momentum of the excitement of what's going on. Not that it's impossible,
Right.
but that's just one of my turnoffs.
Yeah. I think we all are big fans of the audio medium.
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something?
No, I wasn't. That was just
Yeah, I thought you were gonna say something.
Yes, and
Yes, and
Very good.
yes.
yeah.
Yes, and there's nothing else.
Well, that's why I really wanted this to be an edited instead of streamed content, so that I can take out long weird pauses where we double up on something, or you say something and you're like, you know what, I don't want people to know where I live and work, so can you cut that out? Kind of like I did for Two Monsters. There's a minute in there where it was like 10 minutes, cut it out, and like, hey, maybe we shouldn't talk about our jobs.
That's another Pathfinder rule. In the rule book, it talks about lines and veils and gives you advice on how to help draw boundaries and keep everybody comfortable at the table. And we did that for ourselves at the start of this show, and so that we would all know exactly what it was that was off limits. And so far, I'm the only one who breaks those rules because I'm a horrible person.
Well, that's the hard part.
My rules.
Yeah, that's true. But then I just edit it out, so
Yeah.
it's fine.
Or you leave it in like you did one episode. Or you didn't leave in the bad part. You leave in like, no, I'm going to leave this in so that when everyone hears it.
That's just a running gag that I pull on this guy because he's always like doing something on the side. Jordan has the heavy burden of running our live sound mixing. Like the background music and the sound effects all come from Jordan while we're live. And then I'll be like,
courtesy of Sirenscape.
And then I'll be like, what does Varg
Thank you,
do?
Sirenscape.
And thank you, Sirenscape. Oh my God. Like, do we have another hour? But I'll be like, what does Varg think about in this moment? He's knee deep in looking up the next scene and setting up the spell sound, and he'll be like, what?
No, my favorite response, pause for edit.
Pause for edit.
Pause for it.
Yeah, and then I'm always like, no.
Yeah.
Well, that was
will
actually something I was curious about with recording, because you do have the audio playing, because you all feed off of that sometimes or respond to the audio. Like, how are you recording that and your own voices then, and then going back and remembering where to leave in those comments.
Wait, are you saying you don't notice the audio edits?
No, I noticed the audio edits.
I was
like,
gonna say, I was like,
no, but like,
they're like red flags. To
yeah,
me.
no, I edit a lot. I know that they're there, but like, how are you running like separate recording? Like, is it like the?
Not yet.
Yeah.
So that's the next big thing for the show. Is I've got a Zoom Live Track L12 on the floor right here.
Mm-hmm.
I need a 2-week gap to rewire this place, but I'm gonna gut this studio.
You have until Saturday.
No, I'm not gonna have it
You have
ready by
until
Saturday.
Saturday.
It's not possible. It is Monday. That's like I have a job. Anyway, I need a weekend. So we've got
if you put aside Diablo 4 for 4 days,
not in my house.
he
bro.
would have the soundboard set up.
Probably in one day. But hey, look, demons ain't gonna slay themselves, and the butcher and I are so far only are 1 for 4, and I gotta
still
tip that
haven't
to the
run
cause.
I ran into him, killed him.
Shut
Your mouth. God, can you mute everything he's said for this whole show?
Yeah,
So
easy
you can
enough.
See this clown just yammering in the background. Anyway, we have a Behringer 18 channel, 20 channel, and everything goes into it. And it's an incredible mixing board for like a house band.
Yeah,
a live service.
Oh yeah.
Because everything comes out in one track, but that means it goes into our DAW as one track. And so when someone is screaming at the top of his lungs,
Not me.
Hey.
Hilariously,
Yeah.
I can't turn just him down. And because I love that stuff, I leave it in because it's great.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I could have a little bit more control over it so that somebody who's, jogging or exercising can also enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right? Listening with noise canceling headphones on and this 7-foot tall monster of a human just starts screaming in your ear. It's a unique experience, which, like I said, I leave it in because I think it's great. But I also have trouble because sometimes what other people say will get buried in. We all scream. I'm just picking on Jordan because he's here, but we all shout and talk over each other. And it would be great to mute some of that back matter and focus on the person who was carrying the tone at that moment. So that's what this L12 is going to help with. And I'm a little nervous about doing multi-track editing. I've never done it before. So
This is the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
another
fun.
thing I gotta learn how to do. But Jordan's sound out of his computer goes into that mixing board on its own channel, and so we have it set up on its own fader and it mix, and that's why we're able to react to it, is because we can hear it straight into the monitors. The monitor headphones are piping all that right into our ear. Like one of our rituals that nobody has ever heard is at the beginning of every recording I play the theme song because it gets us all pumped up.
Oh yeah.
And thank you, Duncan, who won't watch this. Freaking Duncan. You think that's a joke, but it's our life. It's just real. It's like one of our oldest friends. Like, we've known him since he was a little child.
Yeah.
6 years old.
Yeah, and he refuses to listen to our show. So I beat him at poker at his own birthday.
Well, just tell
But
him to
anyway.
watch this, and at the end, he'll learn all the
Yeah.
shit that you talk about.
This will be the thing. That,
Exactly.
This will be the thing that gets him committed. But anyway, the music is important. I think that's where I was trying to go,
Right.
and I wasn't doing a very good job of getting there. But sounds are important. The music is important. I want to always be able to hear it.
Yep.
And this single track deal is not cutting the mustard. So.
Well, I think that goes back to what you all were saying about like when you forget where you're at, taking a moment to be like, okay, what are the sounds? So if you're hearing the battle music or you're hearing cityscape, it helps add to that way of getting into character.
Immersion is so much better.
The special effects are so much fun.
Yeah.
When someone casts a spell and then you hear what Sirenscape has crafted that spell exactly by name to sound like,
Yeah,
and
it's
it
incredible.
matches, like that's really cool. Like if you're running a home game and you want to have some fun, like get Sirenscape.
And it's not just Pathfinder. I mean,
No, they've got every game
they-
system
yeah.
under the sun.
yeah,
And
D&D, Starfinder.
yeah, we
it's
have
all on there.
their Pathfinder subscription just so that we have access. We have access to all their Pathfinder sound
campaigns.
sets, everything across the whole of Pathfinder for that subscription.
Yeah.
And I mean, I use it sometimes mixing other things.
Yeah.
I use Siren Cape.
Well, that's why I feel like you don't have to have these things to play Pathfinder. But if your group wants to like add a little bit to your experience, they're really, really cool, and we're really grateful if people have come up with these extra things. They're worth it.
I feel bad for the people at Wolf Lair though, because they just started releasing all their books from their vault.
Yeah.
And pumping up their rules, and then Paizo's like, "We're changing it. We're changing all the rules." Remastered edition's coming out. Like, so none of those vault books, they stopped being available.
Yeah.
They're like, we're gonna have to wait for this.
Yeah.
But that's how it goes.
Yeah.
Change comes. Lean into it, nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
None of us like change. I get it. But you gotta lean into it.
Yeah. That's all the questions that I had, unless you had any questions yourself, or you just wanted to talk shit to each other while being recorded. This is the place to air your grievances, and I get spoilers.
Grievances.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't have anything bad to say about these guys. I love them all. I love them. The bad stuff I say to their face while we're recording.
We do it on air.
Yeah, we do it on air.
What you hear recorded, even edited, is pretty much how we talk to each other all the time.
Yeah, most of my editing is just
minus some
the
curse
pauses.
words from Mr. Potty Mouth. That's edited out.
Talking about my wife?
Yeah.
No,
That's just an opportunity for fun, though.
Yeah.
This literally is one of the most fun things I do in my life.
It is. Yeah.
So as much as like I have lots of things that keep me busy and things I do, but the things I do for fun, this is one of my most favorite things. And I literally have to thank Scott for
This is the thing I look forward to the most.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Every Saturday. Not every Saturday. The Saturdays when we record.
Yeah, me too. I mean, it's a lot of fun. I would love for it to be our jobs one day.
That'd be amazing.
That's the goal. We're supposed to talk positive. When we get there.
Yeah, when you get there.
It'll be great.
You are worthy.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are good enough.
You are loved.
Yeah. Just
Affirmation tag, baby.
you all big campaign stories in like another local group, just make a podcast D&D network that all support each other, and then boom bang, whatever, it magically happens. That's step 1. Step 2 is question marks. Step 3 is fun, and step 4 is money, I guess.
Maybe.
Maybe it's really 1 through 3 is all that matters.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that naturally happens. We're going to always continue to get better at doing this. And as a result of that, there will be a generated group of people who are excited to be Thunder Buddies and want to have more experiences with us. It's going to happen. It's literally just a matter of time. And yeah, I mean, if that means also that Jeff and Jesse and all those guys and Sean all get to come from big campaign and be a part of it, and you and I was enjoying looking at this little circle of like shows. There's like 10 or 15 shows that we all just kind of lift each other up, right? It would be great to see all of us get this like whole thing going. And yeah, if that turns into a living, by God, please, like that would be amazing.
James, are you in the Northwest too?
Yeah, I'm in Portland.
P-Town.
Oh, right on. Okay.
Yeah, Stumptown.
Right on.
Yeah.
Stumptown
Coffee.
My man.
Yeah.
My man.
Oh yeah.
Did you know how it got? Do you know how Portland got the name Stumptown? So back when they were naming Portland, or they were about to name it, there's a lot of logging. The logs would go up and down the river. So because of how muddy it was, people had to walk on stumps. Is the story? So they would call it Stumptown. But the problem is when they were actually going to start naming the town, they had a vote of what they should call it, whether it be Portland, New Boston, or Stumptown, and people voted on Portland because it has ports.
Right.
I'm like, that's
Sure. Yeah.
Way less cool.
way less cool. Come on. I think if we voted now, it'd be Stumptown or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that's a cool story, and makes me even more happy that Stumptown Coffee picked that name.
Yeah.
Well, then.
And I'll tell you, Stumptown Coffee was my number 1 for several years until Olympia came out with Olympia coffee roasters,
Oh.
and now, sorry,
Yeah.
you've been dethroned.
I gotta try it because I'm running through all
Olympia
the
coffee roasters. It's fantastic.
Olympia is like
any other
light,
blends.
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
It
it's a
actually
baby.
is.
It is a little baby Portland.
Yeah.
Homeless and all.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. That part's fun. But the only other like really cool, well, there's a bunch of cool facts about Portland, but one of them is all the tunnels underneath downtown Portland.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I listened to a podcast with my wife about that. Very interesting stuff.
They would be used to kidnap people to work on boats, or whenever
What?
ships. Yeah, when it's like early Portland is a tabletop RPG setting.
It's dark.
It is a dark setting, like grim.
Current Portland is a tabletop RPG
That-
setting too.
If anything, that's closer to like a cyberpunk neo-futurist setting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corporate greed has taken over the streets of Portland.
So now you're listening to Big Campaign. Now we're playing Big Campaign.
Pretty much.
Yeah. But that's everything I have. If you wanted, I also thought it'd be funny, but it is purely up to you. If you want to do like a 30-second thing about Terra Crux Games, kind of like a go to Terra Crux Games, the premier gaming
Free plug for
yeah,
Doug.
free plug for Doug. That then I can,
say a
splice
lot
together.
about Terra Crux
Good.
Games. Yeah. Terra Crux Games is where you go to get any gaming fix that you could ever possibly want. Terra Crux is wall to wall, shelf to shelf, everything. There isn't a shortage of anything nerdy. I mean, their Warhammer selection alone could be its own store. I mean, they have more stuff in there than usual like Games Workshop stores, honestly. So that's a thing. If you're into plastic crack, that's a great place. They've also got, I mean, they've got like, I don't know, I think it's like 10 Warhammer gaming tables. They've got 4 big long sections for Magic, and they're still doing Friday Night Magic, which is awesome. And they've got Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh and all the other TCG action going on. But the board game selection is phenomenal. It's exquisite. We've bought probably 8 or 10 board games from them in the last couple of years. Every single one of them recommended by their staff and a total winner. So I think that you could talk about what services that they provide endlessly in that regard, but really the staff is where it's at. Doug and his team that he's got working there, they're all extremely helpful. They're all very knowledgeable. I mean, they've got a couple guys working there that are registered Magic judges, that can answer the toughest, wildest tournament questions right off the top of their head. I mean, and not a single one of them is unhappy, or like, oh, I'm at work. No, they love what they do. I think that's the real draw for me of going into Terra Crux. Every time we go in, greeted with a huge smile, helpful staff, always wanting to talk to you, but then also talk to everyone else, and so they're always going like a mile a minute. So I mean, that's my store, man. I love it, and it's a block away from the McMinimans, so you can go to McMinimans, have dinner, get plastered, and then walk down the street and go play Warhammer. There's a new event. Wasted Warhammer. Let's go. I would dust off my orcs to play Wasted Warhammer at Terra Crux. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's also how people start fights over the Imperium, but whatever. That's why I play orcs.
That's great.
James, the tattoo on your right arm, is that a bass guitar?
Left arm. Oh, right arm?
Yeah, it's my right arm. Yeah, it's a PVT 40 from 78. It's the same bass I have. The reason I got it was because I was in bands, but then also people kept trying to touch my bass. I'm like, if you touch my bass, I will break your fingers because it's a collector's item. It's also like 25 pounds of solid wood, so playing it was hard. I'm like, you can touch this one though. It's like the same thing, right?
Same thing, yeah.
Sick.
There was one show I played down in Eugene, and someone went up to the stage and started touching my bass, and that was the quickest anyone ever saw me run through the bar and just like pull that guy by the feet off the stage.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Jordan plays the bass.
He's a basser.
Yeah.
Slap at the bass, man.
Slap at the bass. I was in a lot of bad bands as the only good. Oh, okay, maybe I'm not being narcissistic on this. People told me, "Hey, James, you're the only good person in the band."
Oh, no.
I'm like, okay.
And rarely does that compliment go to the bass player.
Yeah. We were bass lead. It was a band where the bass was the lead instrument.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's royal blood
What
status.
genre?
We were metal grunge.
Oh, okay.
So I would write
Sick.
the stuff, and then the guitar player would either copy me or make up something, and then
Yeah.
Thank you for watching Sandbox and Chill. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out Dice of Thunder Podcast on Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube. Their socials will be listed below. This has been your friendly narrator. If you leave a comment, gravity may keep me around a little longer than the last guy. And as always, be kind and roll well.